And we're back. My name is John Paul Ferrer. I am one of your co-hosts, and my co-host is...
Hello, everyone. Ginger Leopoldo here. So excited to be back. We had the honor of going through our award ceremony earlier, and so now we are going to do what, John Paul?
We are going to go over the calendar of events on how we are celebrating the Filipino American History Month all throughout October. Now,
That's
one
right.
preface, yes, the only thing I want to add to that is if those organizations whose events are not listed, please contact us and we will add your event to the calendar. And how do they see the, where do they find the calendar, Ginger?
Yes, so they can find the calendar on FAHM's Chicago Facebook page. Also, Circa Pintig, one of the organizations that was awarded, will be helping to host and we'll have some events lined up. And if you also see the PowerPoint or the slides that we'll be sharing with the community, there's contact information on there as well for you to reach out. So we'll be going over those social medias and websites towards the latter part of our presentation. But JP, I believe before we continue, I would just like to give a big thanks and just show our appreciation for Tito Ruben Salazar. Tito Ruben, hello.
Hello again.
Thank you so much for helping us stay organized year in, year out. You are the first one to call, reach out, to get us involved in these community activities. We thank you very much for all that you do. We applaud your leadership.
You're welcome.
He's like the silent Jedi master of Chicago. He gets things done when it comes to Filipino American events here. And of course, this year, some of the big events are not happening, but yet he's the one who envisioned of making this Filipino American History Month a virtual event. So thank you, Tito Ruben.
Yes, this is a challenge for all of us. I mean, in spite of the pandemic, we're still able to celebrate Filipino American History Month. And I thank you, John Paul and Ginger, for hosting this event to let our community know about the calendar of events, several ways of us celebrating Filipino American History Month in spite of the pandemic. So go on.
All right, thank you.
So we're gonna have, we will have a lot of food, we'll have some film, we will have some fireside chat that we're about to preview. So why don't we begin? First off, kicking off the first event that we want to highlight for this year's Filipino American History Month. Earlier, we awarded some Filipino Americans that is involved in the history of social activism. We have 3 awardees that we gave it to, individual awardees. We have Joanne Torria, we have Emil Nicolasin, Dr. Dan Garganera, and of course, closest to Ginger's heart, Circa Pintig.
Yes, it was so wonderful and inspiring to hear from the frontliners who we awarded. And if you haven't had a chance to take a look at the ceremony, which was co-sponsored with the Philippine Consul General's Office and the Filipino American National Historical Society of Chicago, please tune into that because they did have some wonderful messages for us to hear. And again, we can definitely admire the great work that they do. And again, such an honor for Circa Pintig to be recognized for this year's theme, which is the history of Filipino American activism in Chicago. So here is an image that also shows the committee, the organizations that took part in helping to organize for our month. So looks like first up, as you were saying, JP, for our calendar of events is this restaurant week. This is the 2nd annual Filipino Restaurant Week in Chicago. Can you tell us a little bit more about this month-long event?
So last year we launched the International Society of Filipinos in Accounting and in Finance and Accounting here in Chicago, launched the first ever Filipino Restaurant Week. The idea is New York and LA had this already going for them, where they celebrate and help Filipino American restaurants promote Filipino food. Filipino social activism is the Filipino food movement. I don't know that it's still a movement because it's here and a lot of people are tasting it. So this year we decided, since there's a pandemic, we're just going to make it all month long. The restaurant week, it has become a restaurant week. It's sort of like how we say goodbye in the Philippines. We say goodbye inside the house, outside the house, by the gate, as soon as we actually walk away or ride out transportation. So 4 times minimum. So we're making it all week, all month long. We hope that you support. If you go to the ISFA Facebook page, support the Filipino restaurants here, specifically in the Chicago area. And the theme is adobo. Everybody loves a good adobo, right, Ginger?
Of course, that sounds wonderful. We can't wait to celebrate, especially with the national dish of the Philippines.
Right. So there's a contact information there for me and also Paula Arnedo, who actually was the chairman of the restaurant week last year and this year.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. We look forward to that. Coming up next is a celebration of Filipino American artists. This is also a month-long event, so stay tuned as you may check out some virtual exhibits of Filipino artifacts, photographs, and objects, plus paintings and artworks made by Filipino artists. And the contact information is there for you. That's Lawrence Anthony Tumpag, and his email is there in case you want to be in touch.
And next, on October 3rd, Saturday at 7:30 p.m., we have the U.S. premiere of the award-winning movie Edward at the Davis Drive-In Theater. This is actually in partnership with the Asian pop-up cinema Sophia's Choice. And FilPro stands for Filipino Young Leaders Program, where the ambassador of the Philippines select 15 individuals all around the country to expose them to the opportunities and the challenges of the Philippines, and sponsored by Ayala. This year, to fundraise, they are showing Edward. It's a story of a young boy taking care of his father in a general community hospital in the Philippines. It has the love story, it has comedy, it has family in it, and a bunch of other stuff that I will not tell you, so that you'll be surprised. So hopefully you join us. It's $150 per car with 6 passengers that can be in that car. So hopefully you join us. And we do have a clip that we want to play for you. So let's go watch that and show you how wonderful this film is.
All right, here we go.
Ano ba yan, Metlog? Panalo na naman ako. Ano sa piso ko? Gago.
Di pa patay yan, oh. Gago. Patay na yan.
Sexy shit. Woo! Si nanay.
Gago yung kapatid kasi. Ano, nakadilat pati.
Kaya, boyfriend?
Ganda to, ganda to. Ano? That's ba hindi?
Hindi.
Baka mo nabantayan mo kasi walang bantay to eh, ha? Tagal ka na dito? Ba't sino mo binabantayan mo?
Si tatay.
Uy, anong ginagawa mo dito?
Galaw-galaw na ho tayo, maggalaw sa sidok.
Kasi nga siya, sinamahan ko siya dito eh. Nakakinip din eh.
Alam mo, ayoko na talaga umalis dito. Libre na yung pagkain 3 beses pa sa isang araw. May nag-aalaga pa sa akin. Alam mo, pag nandito tayo, hindi ko alam kung matutuwa pa ako o malulungkot ako.
Ito lang talaga na aksidente ka eh. Kita tayo. Nagpustahan kasi kami nun kung deads ka o mabubuhay ka pa dun sa ER.
Ano ba akala mo sa akin, manok na panabong? Pakyo ka!
So Ginger, this movie actually won some awards. So if you could do me a favor, go back one screen.
Yeah.
You can actually call Lucky Siap, which is also a one PhilPro alumni, and I myself is also an alumni. I have seen the movie, and it is full of love, family, and a bunch of other stuff that will make you feel all sorts of emotions.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's the Edward the movie.
That sounds wonderful. I recall celebrating our Philippine American History Month last year, and through the pop-up, through the Asian pop-up, another PhilPro fundraiser, we had a chance to watch some great films when we could all still come together in October of last year. So
Right.
definitely a
Signal
great
Rock.
way. Yeah,
Yep,
Signal
Signal
Rock.
Rock was the movie.
It was really wonderful. So definitely something that we should check out and do. And again, as you mentioned, there will be this is only good for 30 cars. So hopefully there's still time to make your reservations and get your tickets for this great event. And now coming up next, we have one of our awardees. Again, as we mentioned, we had awarded our frontline workers, and of course, our Tito Boboy, Emil Nicolasin, is featured singing the national anthem. On October 8th, this is Thursday at 7 p.m., we're going to watch Filipino healthcare worker and singer-artist Emil Nicolasin singing the national anthem at the Chicago Bears game, honoring healthcare workers sponsored by Advocate Hospitals. Are you a big Bears fan, JP?
Yes, absolutely. And they're playing against Tampa Bay, where a guy named Tom Brady. And for most people who might not be following the football, he's a future Hall of Famer and married to a supermodel.
Oh, well, definitely a great time to tune in, a great way for us to celebrate. That is week 5 of the Chicago Bears or the football season. That'll be Thursday, October 8th. And yes, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right, up next, one of the pride of the Philippines, Tony Award winner, Lea Salonga, actually comes in with the movie Yellow Rose. Her co-stars, Eva Noblesada and Princess Punsalan, will premiere Diane Paragas' Yellow Rose. I hope I said that right. Paragas, I think, is the right way to say that. And it's a spellbinding story about a teenager, and get this, a Filipino teenager who is living in Texas pursuing a dream of becoming a country music star. So it's actually going to be shown all around Chicagoland area. So please stop by and watch this movie.
Oh, how amazing. So it is premiering in the theaters. How exciting. And again, what a great way to celebrate our community. In addition, Philippine American National Historic Society here in Chicago is presenting Songs of Peace and Justice. We are inviting you to join Miss Amanda for virtual music class sharing music of peace and justice for our youngest activists. So this is one of the events that we have on the calendar that is great for the whole family, and especially for our little bulilits ages 0 to 5. This is going to be presented on Saturday, October the 10th at 10 a.m. So tune in. And again, if you have any questions, you may contact Clarissa Algentera. She's one of our members with the Filipino American National Historical Society of Chicago, the Greater Chicago chapter.
And then following up is the next 3 Wednesdays, hosted by Circa Pintig and Ginger. And history of Filipino American activism is the theme. So the 3 Wednesdays, starting October 14th, Wednesday at 12 noon, there'll be a fireside chat about Workers' Bill of Rights. And the guest is Jerry Clarito and Miss Richmond.
Right.
And the following week, October 21st, Wednesday at 12 noon, the topic would be ethnic studies, starring Dr. Anna Guevara.
Right.
And then finally, the third Wednesday after that, 12 noon again, October 28th, The topic would be frontliners and essential workers with Terrence Yee and Brian Ranchero. So definitely 3 weeks worth of fireside chat via Zoom, of course. So please tune in.
Yes, how exciting. I just received some correspondence with Terrence Yee, and actually, he had been the president of the Illinois Nurses Association, but had recently taken on a new role and was one of our activists, one of our leaders, frontline leaders who helped to win the strike that ended the strike with the UIC healthcare workers. So there was, did you know about that week-long strike, one of the largest strikes that's happened recently? And they just won, their battle just yesterday. So we are looking forward to that chat with Terrence Yee at the end of the month. In addition, Circa Pintig is hosting an open mic. So due to the pandemic, even though we are a community arts organization who enjoys coming together, uh, we haven't been able to. So we've been hosting a lot of virtual events, and many of which have been global events. Well, this time on October 24th, Saturday at 3 o'clock, we are calling on high school and college youth. So whether you are involved in a Filipino club or have a student organization, look out for our email this month as we are calling for submissions of original works, whether that be poetry, music, drama, whatever it is that speaks to you, so you can share your voice about the history of Filipino American activism, as that is the theme. We'll be having some special guests at the actual open mic, which will be virtual on October 24th. So it'll be wonderful to hear from our youth voices in celebration of this year's theme. And what's up next?
That October 25th, it's a Sunday, or October 26th. The date hasn't been fully announced yet or finalized. It's a community advocacy and cultural representation in food. So Ginger, did you hear about that wine bar that opened up in Washington, D.C. named Barcada? So if I tell you go to Barcada, what's your automatic instinct?
I would imagine that we're going to hang out and have some drinks.
And maybe Filipino owned?
Yeah, Barcada. I mean, I assume.
Okay, just so that for reference, Barcada means friends.
Mm-hmm.
And this wine bar happened to be owned by non-Filipinos, but they just happened to like that name Barcada.
Oh,
The essence of it is right, but they used it without permission or researching the history of that word. So those are the kind of discussion that they will be doing at that moment. And Jerry Aglipai, and his email contact is there, will be leading that discussion. So please stay tuned, and we'll give you more detail as they finalize the actual date.
wow. Well, I'll definitely be in tune for that. That's fantastic. Here we are coming up next with the Philippine American Cultural Foundation. Each year, PACF have been awarding our community members, and this year they are honoring the Filipino American pioneers. This is going to be on October Sunday at 2 p.m. And it is going to be a virtual event to honor and present awards to some of the Filipino American pioneers who have displayed service to our community. So that will be quite exciting. And again, information is there to Adeline Fajardo and also Evelyn Natividad.
Then October 29th, the Film Museum is hosting Thursday at 7 p.m. It's called Pulong ng Bayan. It's an update to the co-creation back several years ago, where they actually showcased the 10,000 artifacts that the Film Museum owns. So they're hosting a virtual meeting specifically talking about these 10,000 artifacts and updating us on what their thoughts are. The contact person for that is Jamie Kelly. You would see that his email is listed there as jkelly@filmmuseum.org. And of course, our own Tito Ruben, tito.rubens@gmail.com.
Fantastic. Tito Ruben, just a little bit of history on some of the pictures that we are seeing here. Where are these photos from? What can you tell us about it?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you fine.
Yes. So these photos were taken 2 years ago when the Filipino American National Historical Society hosted the biennial convention here in Chicago. And first day of the convention is a tour of Chicago. And of course, we have to make sure that the Field Museum is one of the stops of the tour. And I'd like to thank our tour guides. The same person that you're seeing here as host, Ginger, was the tour guide in bus number 1, and JP, John Paul, is the tour guide for bus number 2. We had at least 40 on each bus, so about 80 people joined us to the tour of the Field Museum. They were not able to see the 10,000 artifacts, but we had a talk about the 10,000 artifacts and the co-curation project. Some of the people on the tour actually came back to the museum to see the artifacts because they're actually still on the vaults in the basement of the Field Museum. And what this co-curation project is all about is to make sure that we identify and document those artifacts so that in the future, we may hopefully be able to display them at the Field Museum for people to see. So watch out for this update on the co-curation, and hopefully our Filipino community will help and support this project of co-curation.
Sounds wonderful, Lolo Ruben.
Yeah, Lolo Tito Ruben. Let me ask you a quick question.
Go ahead.
Okay, are you taking care of your grandson with that towel there? You know, just.
Yes, actually,
you have,
Tito Ruben is now Lolo Ruben.
There we go. I wanted to make that point. You were doing Lolo duties just now.
While you guys are talking earlier, I was actually doing my apostolic job. And in fact,
Yeah.
you may be hearing him in the background.
We are actually. That's why, you know, apostolic meaning apostolic.
That's correct.
Wonderful. Will you be sending out a new email address to Lolo Ruben instead of Tito Ruben? Should we look out for that?
It's coming up very soon.
Coming up
There
soon.
we go.
Fantastic.
And then we have we open up the event with October 3rd with a drive-in. We talked about Lea Salonga as being a Tony Award winner, and she's known for that role. We're going to close out the month with an October 30th watch party. It's Friday, 7 p.m. Chicago time. It's called Lingua Franca. Lingua Franca. And the reason why I brought up Lea Salonga, she's not in this movie, but did you know, Ginger, that we actually have the only Filipino who've ever won a Grammy and a Tony Award in the world?
That is exciting. That's so exciting.
Yes, and that's Jet Tolentino, based out of New York. So he has agreed to actually be, to showcase his Netflix movie, Lingua Franca, and make it a closing ceremony and closing event. And we're going to have a chat with him live after we all see the movie. So we will watch the movie through Netflix all at once. There's an add-in that will enable us to cut in and out and have a fireside a talk with Jet. Wow. And Lingua Franca was actually selected as the movie to watch over Mulan by Rotten Tomatoes. So it's that good. And the story, it actually chronicles the undocumented Filipino trans woman who tried to stay in the United States to get herself her green card. And of course, this movie is sponsored by the Midwest Filipino American Coalition and the Filipino Young Leaders Program, or PhilPro. Luella Cabalona of Sama Sama Project, the local band here, you can reach her at luella.cabalona@philpro.org, or Everett Ikaw, who's both of those people are actually PhilPro alumni, such as me. So all three of us are PhilPro alumni, and we were happy to present because Jet is also an alumni of the program. Wow. And of course, Everett Ikaw's email is ikaw93@gmail.com.
Oh, that is fantastic, JP. Again, we're so excited, and we thank you and the rest of our community for having this programming available for everyone to enjoy and celebrate. Again, our kababayans, the history of Filipino American activism is our theme for this year. And of course, here in Chicago, the greater Chicago area, and in the Midwest, we are here to represent. And again, please follow us for all of the ins and outs of the celebrations. We do want to give a big shout out and a maraming salamat to Can TV Chicago. They helped to host our award ceremony earlier. And here is some of the information about the social media. So Fonz.Chicago Facebook page, Circa Pintig Theater as well. You can get some updated information along with pacfmidwest.org for the calendar events. And a few of the organizations are on Instagram. So at Circa Pintig Theater or at ISFA Chicago. So Tita Ruben, do we have a special guest? Who is that? Hello.
Unmute. Tito Ruben, unmute.
He looks like our newest member.
Yes.
The newest member of FANS. He will be the next generation of Filipino Americans that will be continuing the legacy that we have started.
Well,
does he have an email yet? Like Apple, Tito Apple, Ruben Apple, Rubens.apple@gmail.com.
we can help set that up if that's the case.
So that concludes our event.
Say bye.
So please let us know if you have events you'd like us to add. And again, thank you again, Ginger, for co-hosting. Tito Ruben for always the staple of leadership here in Chicago.
Mabuhay and
Mabuhay in Pilipinas.
Filipino American History Month.
Mabuhay.
Say that again, Tito Ruben. I spoke over you. Say that again.
Mabuhay and happy Filipino American History Month.
Thank you. My name is John Paul Ferreira, and we are out.
Bye-bye, everyone. Ginger Leopoldo signing out. Take good care, and we hope to see you at those events. Bye-bye, everyone.